Can we really trust central banks? What do they even do with all the money they print? And what about those rumors connecting them to organized crime? I haven't seen any solid proof, but who knows? Maybe we're asking too many questions. We don't want to end up sleeping with the fishes, right? Anyways, let's dive in and see if we can uncover any secrets about these mysterious institutions. Central banks have multiple objectives. However, their primary objective is to maintain price stability, which means keeping inflation within a target range. This is because some objectives can be incompatible with each other. For example, an expansionary policy that involves lowering interest rates may stimulate economic growth and employment, but it could also lead to inflation if it's not carefully managed. Until the 70s, the method of sacrificing a chicken to the economic gods was working fine. But issues with oil led to problems of high inflation, causing the quantitative theory of money and monetarists to gain weight in decision-making of central banks. This theory suggests that amount of money in circulation directly influences the price level, as explained by the Fisher equation. However, in the 80s, it became clear that the inflation phenomena was not so simple to explain. Many variables, including international prices of raw materials, new technological developments, the mysterious key energy, and so on, can have influence. This led to a certain change of direction in central bank policies, with a greater emphasis on multiple indicators rather than just money supply. In addition, modern commercial banks can create money out of thin air within certain limits. As a result, central banks have shifted their focus away from controlling the money supply and towards using interest rates as a tool. The interest rate is a rate that commercial banks must pay to central bank for short-term loans. This indirectly affects the interest rates that commercial banks charge to their customers. For instance, in case of inflation, central banks can increase the interest rate that commercial banks have to pay. And then, the commercial banks can pass on the increased cost to the customers. This is believed to encourage a reduction in consumption, which should stabilize demand and prices. At least, that's the theory. But let's face it, no one really knows how inflation works. The world's smartest scientists are conducting experiments at CERN to figure it out. But so far, they haven't found an answer. Monetary policy tools can be broadly categorized in various ways. First, the manipulation of interest rates. Second, money supply modification policies such as quantitative easing, which injects money into the system by increasing the balance sheet. Buying assets with money created out of thin air. And opposite, quantitative tightening, which sells those assets. Third, through announcements, press conferences, etc., trying to influence expectations and decisions of economic agents. Fourth, commercial banks are also required by the central bank to maintain a certain minimum level of cash reserves in proportion to the amount of liabilities they hold against their customers. And fifth, through the power of violence, such as sending horse heads, because nothing says stable economy like a good old-fashioned horse head in your bed. Central banks are the undisputed financial geniuses. They have done an amazing job at keeping the economy stable and smooth. And all those rumors about them being sinister manipulators, pure hogwash. We should trust them blindly and never question their actions. After all, they say don't fight the Fed. And who are we to argue with such brilliant minds?